Hello, Roger Leaning from Morgans. I'm here with Stephen Smith, Managing Director of PTB Group. PTB Group is a engine aviation business. Stephen, could you please tell us a little bit more about the background of the business, where you've come from?
Thanks, Roger. Yeah, happy to do so. PTB Group was formed back in about 2001 when myself and three other shareholders, Craig Baker, who's our current chairman, Graham Hills and Hugh Jones, bought a small business up here in Brisbane. We got involved in that business because we're aviation people. At that point, we were about 6 people out at the Brisbane airport and with about $1.5 million of revenue, and some years we made a little money and some years we didn't. From then we went on to grow it in the engine repair and overhaul business. So we took it from a fast shop to a full overhaul shop. We've now got 45 plus people in Brisbane. We've got a facility in Sydney with about 15 people in, and we have a facility in Miami with 3 people in. So we've progressed over that period of time. We raised some initial money using the NSX. We then took the next step onto the ASX a few years after that and have progressed as times led us and as capitals led us. As an aviation business, we've found that capitals are very capital hungry being in aviation. So we've enjoyed the opportunity to raise capital when we've come up with good ideas.
And you mentioned a little bit about the industry being capital hungry. Could you give us a little bit of insight into the landscape of the aviation engine businesses and a little bit more about your differentiation or competitive advantage in that landscape?
Sure. The MRO business, and we're big in acronyms in aviation, and maintenance, repair and overhaul is how we're classed as a shop. We repair and overhaul turbine engines ranging from about 500 to 1500 shaft horsepower. The technology, we work on 2 types of aircraft. One's the Pratt & Whitney, one's the Honeywell engine. Both developed some 50 years ago in America. 50 years seems a long time, but in aviation it's not such a long time. It's important to understand that the aircraft today are using those engines, still has to use the same engine that they were produced with. So we're a heavily regulated industry. We hold approvals from civil aviation in Australia, from civil aviation in about 6 other countries. We are audited on a monthly basis, if not a fortnightly basis. So we are heavily regulated, and hence there's some pretty significant barriers to entry into the business. Now, the MRO business was traditionally a business where an operator come to us and said, we want to overhaul our engine, we need a rental, can you give us an estimate to do that job? We found that model very frustrating, and I'm going back 10 years when I talk about these things, and we said, look, how do we break that mold? And we invested a lot of time and effort. We did a whole lot of research and tried to figure out what worked for our customers, what didn't, what our customers' strengths were and what their weaknesses were. We identified that to get an overhaul done at 5,000 hours means you may only see that customer every 5 years. In order to service that customer properly, you have to invest a certain amount of money. So in order to be able to provide the right level of service, we said, well, we need more than a once in every 5 years relationship. So we evolved what we call power by the hour or engine maintenance programs. And how they work is we go to a customer and say, look, you concentrate on operating the aeroplane, we'll concentrate on looking after your engines, you pay us every month for the hours you fly, and when an engine's due for heavy maintenance, we will take care of that, and it's covered under the cost you pay us on a monthly basis. What we didn't anticipate when we got into this 10 years ago was how dependent our customers become on us and how important a part of their business it became. So we won some very long-term contracts that we've still got to this day, some 10 or 13 years later, because of and it's a little trite to say it, but it's about service, and we provide a high level of service that is very well regarded by our customers.
And with the opportunities that presents your business, what do you see as the key ones in the near to mid-term?
What we did, Roger, we've in that whole process of learning about our customers, we learnt about the customers we can help the most. And the customer we can help the most is potentially geographically isolated. He has trouble getting good people, holding good people, and he effectively contracts out a lot of those services that we provide. We've identified two very strong growth initiatives that are front and centre for us right now. One of them is leasing aircraft. At the moment, we lease a number of engines to customers. We're moving into the process of leasing complete aircraft. We've partnered with SBI Leasing in Japan, who are providing the financing, and we're providing the customers. We see that as a very big growth initiative for us, and we have aspirations to have up to 100 aircraft out on lease, which of course gives us access to the engine maintenance for those aircraft. The other major growth initiative we have in play at the moment is our facility in the USA. What we've done in the USA is we've gone to shops in the USA, MRO shops like us, and said, you have excess capacity, we would like to utilise that capacity. As long as we supply the material and you supply the labour, can we do something? We now have 3 or 4 different relationships like that in the USA, where overhaul shops provide us with fixed costing to do an engine overhaul, and we supply the material. An engine overhaul for a PT6, for example, 80% of the cost is in the material, 20% is in the labour. So making sure we control that material and making sure we keep that cost of material down is one of our prime key points of difference and our key drivers of our profitability.
Thank you, Stephen. Sounds like a very exciting and busy future ahead for you. Would thank you for coming in and sharing those views with us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roger. Really appreciate the opportunity.